everyone. Welcome to What's Next with Miro. My name is Jennifer Clark. I'm the Senior Manager of our Miro Academy team, coming to you from Austin, Texas, and we are very excited about the program we have planned for you today. Just a little housekeeping, we have moderators in the chat live ready to help you. So let us know where you're from and what your team is working on right now. And maybe to get us going in the chat, let us know how you're using AI in your workflow right now. We have some pretty cool updates on that topic, so maybe that'll help us get going in conversation. Our team is also standing by to help you with any technical support you may need as well. We've got some very exciting updates to share with you today. It's an evolution to Miro that'll help you and your team face some of the biggest challenges in work and innovation. I'm delighted to hand it over to Chow, our Chief Product and Technology Officer from Amsterdam, to lead us today in conversation about innovation and how Miro powers it with your team. Take it away, Jeff.
Thanks, Jen. As you know, Miro has been focused on how best to connect you and your teams to solve the hardest problems in the world. Over 70 million users, 230,000 businesses, and some of the largest Fortune 100 companies use Miro to bring cross-functional teams together. And we've learned a ton from our customers on not just how they use Miro, but how they work. We see consistently teams approach their work in 3 phases. The discovery phase, all the brainstorming and ideation. That definition phase where you synthesize and decide together with your stakeholders. And delivery, all about the execution. But let's be honest, that's not what it always feels like in real life. This is probably what it feels like more to you. It's tools adding friction to the process. People get stuck trying to figure out the process of work versus doing the real work. It feels like it takes forever before a decision is made. At Miro, we believe we can help solve this, and we're building on 3 critical beliefs. The first is cross-functional work is critical. And it's not just those magic moments in the brainstorming phase, but it's across all stages of the process. The second is the canvas is critical to unlock those deeper workflows. And lastly, of course, AI is supercharging everything, but it needs to be in the critical path of how people work today to truly make the impact we know it can make. Now, today we're embarking on the journey to connect the dots through the experience. A single platform to help you from idea to outcome. And that's why we're so excited to introduce the Intelligent Canvas. It's a new AI-powered way for teams to ideate, iterate, and deliver faster. Let's take a look.
There's that moment in work when there's too many tools, silos appear, progress lulls, and the spark fades. Not anymore. This is the Intelligent Canvas. Do in minutes what usually takes hours. With AI that uses your ideas and content to create things like summaries and get you started on diagrams. Get an extra pair of eyes on your work with AI Sidekicks. When you need feedback or ideas for next steps, take back time to focus on real work with AI-powered interactive workflows like journey mapping, research synthesis, and sprint planning. All integrated, all together, in one place. Innovation belongs on the canvas.
Amazing. So let's go ahead and unpack this. The Intelligent Canvas consists of 3 areas. First, we're updating the canvas itself, making it more inclusive and intuitive for anyone on the team to come in. The second is we're adding composable workflows to the canvas, helping teams move faster from discovery all the way through to definition and delivery. And third, we're ensuring AI gives teams their superpowers. Okay, let's start with our updated canvas experience. Now we have one simple principle when we build product at Miro. Everyone should feel like Miro is a home built for them. And whether you're a designer, a product manager, a human resources manager, cloud architect, CIO, or CEO, and I'm running out of my breath, but it's all of them, we are building Miro for you and want you to feel Miro is meant for you. So the first thing we're doing is we're simplifying our interface. Now this is not a dramatic change, but we took a step back and put items into places that make more sense based on your feedback. Now, we know that many of our users rely on our most advanced capabilities and wish they could be bundled in ways to make it easier to get a specific job done. To that end, we're introducing the concept of modes so that you can focus on the specific task at hand with the tools you need. And we're starting with diagramming mode. This new mode helps you enter an experience tailor-built for the most advanced diagramming practitioner. You'll have all of the diagramming tools you'll need at your fingertips, existing ones and new features including layers, custom shape packs, and AWS data import. When we focused on simplification, we didn't just look within the board, but also how teams can get quickly into the flow of work. One of the biggest challenges teams have is not getting full work context when they enter a Miro board. There are different steps in the process in different contexts. Who hasn't joined a project midstream and been utterly lost without the foundational context? And who hasn't gotten into a messaging vortex where you realize collaboration today is just a series of DMs asking for the link again from your teammates? To solve this, we're thrilled to introduce Spaces. Spaces helps teams create an area for all relevant content. Teams who land on a board can instantly open a space drawer and find relevant project artifacts that can help round out the context of the project, answer open questions you might have, or point to other work streams to jump in on, leading to more efficient teamwork across multiple steps on the project. Finally, we didn't just make the experience simpler, but we also focused on our core technology. We're adding a new rendering engine that helps deliver even more performance in animation across Miro. And we're introducing the Canvas SDK, a new way to build objects on the canvas. All you need to know is TypeScript, and you get out of the box real-time multiplayer support and a flexible backend data model. And you can create rich interactive experiences on the canvas. And to start, we've been leveraging the Canvas SDK ourselves. We've created new interactive widgets from polls to spinners to charts, and that will help even the most skeptical teammate lean in, engage, and ultimately remove barriers to get to co-creation and problem solving. And these interactive widgets are not just lightweight engagers, they also bring advanced capability, such as timeline support, which I know is a huge requested feature from you all, and rich text multiplayer editors as well. So we're significantly up-leveling the Canvas experience for you. We're simplifying our interface, Spaces to make it easier to have context and get back into the flow of work. We're introducing modes to focus on the task at hand. We're making objects on the canvas more interactive, and we're not just leveraging the Canvas SDK for interactivity, but also enhancing workflows. To tell you more, I'll hand it off to Mark.
Thanks, Jeff. So Jeff covered how we're up-leveling the Canvas experience. And now I want to take you through how we're bringing composable workflows onto the canvas. What our users love about Miro is that unparalleled flexibility that the canvas affords them. It allows you to work in exactly the way that you want to work. Now, traditionally, workflows, especially the cross-functional ones, don't happen on the canvas alone. They're distributed across the many tools that we use. And we're hearing you loud and clear when you tell us it's frustrating to jump between those tools simply to move your work forward. But with composable workflows, we're helping you make business-specific processes more collaborative. Imagine that same energy that you're feeling during a brainstorm, even in the most mundane steps of your process. We're helping you to connect and automate those steps, surface work, plans, and knowledge all in one place, and increase the speed to decision-making through real-time insights. The intelligent widgets that Jeff shared are really the building blocks of these workflows. Widgets are aware of their surrounding context, and they can interact with one another. For example, I can drag and drop this person onto a card, and it automatically assigns them. This intuitive interaction is really only possible on the canvas. With formulas, you can build real-time insights with the data on your board. Maybe you're looking for the number of stickies in a brainstorm or a workshop, or maybe you're running a capacity planning exercise. You can also use AI to automate those steps in your workflow. And pulling all of this together, you can create composable workflows like sprint planning, dragging and dropping people, getting capacity planning insights, all in real time on a multiplayer surface. And with the Canvas SDK that Jeff mentioned, you have full control over these workflows. All of this helps you move faster and collaborate more deeply with your team. We are thrilled to be partnering with AWS, who have co-created a custom workflow to ensure that cloud architects can factor in costs as they design infrastructures. Any cloud architects watching today, you're going to love this one. So, using the AWS diagramming shape pack, architects can collaboratively visualize different cloud infrastructure models like this. A cost summary widget calculates the projected cost of each of these models, and that happens in real time. This is helping the team to collaborate and scenario plan right from the canvas. And when the team need to dive just a little bit deeper, they can actually use the cost calculator widget to understand the cost per element and really configure that. To get you started, we're launching with 12 intelligent templates that bring together AI, interactivity, and of course, integrations. And these are going to help you accelerate and collaborate more effectively on common team workflows like brainstorming, stakeholder reviews, sprint planning, road mapping, and of course, diagramming. We're so impressed by all of the innovative ways that teams are already using Miro to bring their ideas to life. And with these new capabilities, we can't wait to see what you do next. So we've talked about evolving the Canvas experience. We've talked about composable workflows, but no intelligent canvas could be complete without AI. And I'm going to throw it back to Jeff to tell us more about this.
All right, so you've seen how the intelligent canvas can bring teams closer together and make their work more productive. But of course, it wouldn't be an intelligent canvas if AI didn't play a bigger role. Let's dive in. Put simply, we believe AI can help teams move faster, and we've made some great progress with recent releases. And throughout this process, we have learned a ton. Through these learnings, we have even deeper resolve that we are on Team Human. We believe the path to the next big thing starts with the ideas and the insights of people, and that will never change. Today, 12 million sticky notes are dropped in Miro every day. That's 12 million ideas. And that's why we have profound belief that the canvas and AI is an amazing combination. That brainstorm where people throw all of their ideas, that's the ultimate prompt. And today we're thrilled to announce new, more advanced AI capabilities in the intelligent canvas. First, we're now making it easier to create with AI straight from the toolbar. Now you can prompt AI by selecting specific content from your board for context and use it to create well-structured user stories, summaries, visuals, even technical diagrams in a matter of minutes, not hours or days. But it doesn't have to just happen through a menu. We're excited to also introduce AI shortcuts. You can add shortcuts to your templates and make sure every team member can simply click a button and benefit from the power of AI. Now, we believe in the power of cross-functional teams, but the reality is our teams are not always fully staffed, and that can lead to real friction in moving work forward. That's why we're excited to introduce AI Sidekicks. Sidekicks are AI agents that bring a fresh set of eyes on a project or expand the number of voices in a brainstorm. Sidekicks are like that moment when you wave a coworker into a conference room asking for advice and it magically unblocks a phase of a project. These sidekicks act like a real-time collaborator on the canvas, dropping sticky notes, adding comments. It's just like another member of your team in Miro. Now we're starting with 3 sidekicks: the product leader, the agile coach, and the product marketing sidekick. And we're not going to do this alone. We're thrilled to be partnering with industry experts like the Product Marketing Alliance, the world's biggest product marketing community. Our product marketing sidekick brings their specialized knowledge around the craft of launching new products and building marketing campaigns to our Miro customers. To recap, we're making the canvas more inclusive and intuitive so that anyone on the team can come in and get the context and contribute. We're bringing composable workflows to the canvas to help teams be more productive and collaborate more effectively. With 12 new intelligent templates, you have AI, interactivity, and integrations powering common team workflows from brainstorms to synthesis to planning. AI will accelerate every stage of your work. It'll help you to instantly create, synthesize, and gain a fresh perspective on your work right on the canvas. Now it's time to take a look at how all of this comes together in one seamless experience for your team. And for that, I'm going to hand it back to Mark.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Now, this is where we'll be role-playing the typical journey of a technology team, FlexFund, launching a new mobile application to help their users better connect with their finances. I'm going to be the product owner here, and I'll be responsible for pulling the project forward, and I'm going to need the help of my colleague, Sophia. Hey.
Hey, as with any complex project, it takes a village, so I'm going to be working together with Mark, playing as an engineering manager on the team. Mark, I've already brought together the team on our kickoff board. Shall we get started?
Yeah, definitely. Did you add an icebreaker for them as well?
Of course I did.
Perfect.
We're gonna do a poll to decide if a hot dog is a sandwich or a taco.
We definitely need a decision on that. I think it's a sandwich, but maybe being a bit British. Okay, so Sophia and I have prepped this board a little bit earlier on today, and we've started with one of our intelligent templates. This is the product brief brainstorming one, and it means we've saved a ton of time. As you can see, we've also added this board to a space, and we're using this to really bring together all of the work that we're doing in this project. I can already see that the team have generated and grouped tons of ideas, looking to solve some of the user problems we've identified. And Sophia is going to run a quick dot voting exercise to really help the team identify the hot spots where they can draw their attention to the ideas that we feel most confident about. What's really nice with these dot votes is they stick to the stickies, right?
Yes.
So even when we move that board around later and we're grouping different areas, we're not going to lose some of that relevant context.
Exactly.
Great. This is where we'll use the product leader AI as well. This is a sidekick that's really going to help us fill in some of the gaps. The sidekick quickly analyzes the frames and even adds some new suggestions. I think we've got everything covered, but I'm really curious to see if there's any additional ideas here that we might have missed. This is just a great way to spur creativity and consider some new alternative perspectives. Wow, okay, we've got a lot of ideas here that we need to sift through, but I want to bring all of this together to help us form an initial product brief. I think we've all been there, right?
Yes.
Spending hours of sifting.
Days even.
Oh, of course, sifting, transcribing, editing, all of that content, endlessly switching between the tabs in my workshop board and my document. But with Miro AI, it's a little bit easier. It's pretty effortless. I can actually generate a first draft brief in about 30 seconds. And that means that all the time that Sophia and I are spending together, we can focus on refining that brief rather than drafting it. We can even use Miro AI to make some micro adjustments. So you can see here, I can actually adjust it for things like tone and phrasing. But actually, I'm pretty happy with what we've got. I reckon this is exactly what we need. Do you want to take this and start to map out some user flows?
Yeah, for sure. Let me pull your brief into our working board.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna copy the product brief from the kickoff board, and then I'm gonna pop it into our new working board, which I've created in the same FlexWay project space over here. And in our working board, you can already see that there are all these critical user journeys that our team has worked on for the new app. But now I will focus more specifically on the payments flow. And it's really good to have the product brief right here so I can refer to it when I'm diagramming and making sure that I'm covering the requirements. And I don't like to start from scratch, not at all. So to get started fast, I'm gonna use Miro AI to create the first draft of my diagram. So I go to Miro AI, drop in my prompt over here, which I've extracted a bunch of the requirements from the product brief. I'll zoom into an empty area of my board, and then I'll get started generating the diagram. And you can see that in real time, Miro AI will come in and help me start to build out my diagram.
This is a great first start.
Yeah, and in a few moments, I have a ready to edit flow chart to work with. Yeah, it's a great start, but we'll need to refine it a bit more. And I see that I'm already in diagramming mode, which is an optimized environment for diagramming. And here I can immediately access the diagramming shapes. Also, all the diagramming tools like Plant UML, Dryo, they're all conveniently pinned here for quicker access. Okay, so I think we're done with mapping the critical user flows.
Great, okay. We've achieved a lot already. I think this is probably a good time for us to check in with our stakeholders, bring them up to speed, make sure they're part of the journey with us.
Yeah.
But before we do that, can we take a quick look at the roadmap side of things and make sure that we're happy with how we're scheduling this so we can give a bit of clarity as part of that update?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Okay, so road mapping is a super messy process. If you know, you know. We're bringing together requirements, work schedules, technical complexities, dependencies, and we're using all of this as inputs to negotiate an optimal route to get this new experience out to the market. This is where the canvas works so well, and many of you are already using Miro to roadmap today. Once it starts to come together, Sophia and I need a flexible way to really play with that roadmap, and the timeline intelligent widget is exactly what's going to help us do that. Just look at how easy it is for Sophia and I to really work together to synthesize our messy plans into something a little less chaotic. And then we can quickly add and prioritize new tasks as well. We can even adjust the time frame. So as the conversation evolves, we can make those changes on the fly.
Okay, I think this looks great. I think we're ready to jump into the product stakeholder review.
Let's do it.
So this is an important one, right? As Mark said, we're making great progress with the team, and we need to bring our partner teams along for the ride.
Absolutely. So we've got a few minutes, I think, before everybody jumps in. Before presenting, I always like to do that last check on the content. And today I'm going to use the product leader AI Sidekick just to get an extra pair of eyes on the content. This really just helps me anticipate any additional questions or strategic considerations that we might need to make. All I need to do is select the frames and tell my sidekick where to focus.
Okay, so while Mark is reviewing the deck with the sidekick, I'm gonna just create a poll for the presentation to see if attendees can identify FlexFund's biggest user challenge today. Personally, I like to use these as an opportunity to gauge how well attendees understand what we're presenting. And a poll is just a super dynamic way to hold everyone's attention, right? Especially Jeff, right? We don't want him to drift off and start texting on his phone halfway through.
No, we definitely don't want that.
No.
Okay, so the sidekicks came back with some pretty interesting suggestions, but actually, Sophia, I think we're good to dive in. So if you've never tried a presentation in Miro before, you need to. They're super immersive and incredibly engaging. This is what everyone will see when they join. And you can see that Sophia and I have pulled together the product brief, the user flows, the roadmap that we've literally just worked on, alongside our designs and some of that broader project context. And you can see the stakeholders tracking along with me. They're reacting in real time and commenting. Okay, Sophia, it looks like some of them are responding to your poll. I don't think we've lost too many of them to the DMs.
Yeah.
So if folks can't actually attend the event, we can also record a talk track to get their feedback async.
Great job on the presentation. I think everyone is super stoked about our project, and it looks like we've received a ton of great feedback on the board. Although, if I'm honest, as much as I love reading through 20 threaded comments, I really don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to hover over the comment threads and hit summarize to quickly get the gist, right? See what's relevant for me and if there are any immediate actions I need to take.
This one saved me a few times.
I love it. Okay, so now we have that alignment. Let's build our first sprint plan. Okay, so I usually like to refer to our roadmap and strategy as we start planning our sprints. And I used to have to Slack Mark like 5 times for the roadmap board link because he is a very busy guy.
I'm sorry.
But not anymore. Now I can just head over to our FlexWay and grab the most updated version of our roadmap from there, right? So, okay. First, I start by mapping out the team's work over here. And then really easily, just with one click, I can convert items from draft Miro cards into my system of record, which is Jira. And now we have the right Jira cards. Let's drag them into the next sprint. And then here we also have a few open tasks that we will actually roll to the next sprint. So as we start sizing up the work and assigning tasks, you can see that this is really like a multiplayer collaborative session where everyone can jump in on the planning in real time, right? And here we have a counter which updates automatically to reflect our remaining capacity. the whole process just feels very seamless and intuitive. And because everything is two-way synced, I also don't have to go back to Jira to update anything. I used to think sprint planning can feel a little bit like single player mode.
Yes.
Right? It's just me sharing my screen in Jira.
And everybody else is watching.
Yeah, but now with the whole team sort of leaning in, not only can we plan faster, we can also make sure everyone is on board. And because we're centralizing all of our context and communication around the board, we can just adjust our plans on the fly as circumstances change.
Amazing. And you're right, it means that you then don't have to set up extra sessions after sprint planning to go back and update that source of truth. It's all done.
Super helpful. Yeah.
Amazing, that's wonderful. Just look at how much we've managed to achieve in such a short space of time. We've shown you what it can feel like to run an end-to-end project without ever leaving the Miro canvas. Everything that we've shared today is on that dedicated space that we created for the FlexWay project, and that's going to really scale as our project scales, right? For stakeholders, that means that there is a single location to go to. As Sophia mentioned earlier, a one-stop shop to go for all of the different artifacts to help them get that complete understanding of the project.
And the intelligent composable workflows, right? Those really help us work with more agility and focus, right? The intelligent widgets, they really facilitate engagement and co-creation for the team. And along with AI and integrations, they make up intelligent templates, which really allow the team to dive straight into the work without wasting time on figuring out what the process should be.
Exactly. And on that note of AI as well, this is not a separate productivity tool. It's deeply integrated into the fabric of the Miro canvas. And that's where the work lives. So the way we think about that is our work is on the canvas. That is the prompt that's enabling AI. And it's helping us to really leverage what's there, expand on it, and ultimately advance our projects more efficiently.
And let's not forget my favorite, AI Sidekicks,
Yes.
right? They're not just there to be cute. They're handy little helpers that provide instant expert assistance, filling any gaps in our team's knowledge.
Absolutely. We know that this is going to transform the way that you work with your teams, and we can't wait for you to try out some of these new features and capabilities that we've shown you. And with that, thank you very much, Sophia.
Thank you.
I'm going to hand it back to Jeff to wrap up.
Thanks, Mark and Sophia. And I swear I was not in Slack at all. Okay, we've shared some incredible new releases that we're confident will transform the way you work. This all translates to over 50 new features that we're bringing to Miro. But we want to be thoughtful about how we roll this out. That means that we're not rolling out everything to everyone all at once. We want to learn from you. We want to improve. So we'll be gradually rolling these features out over the next couple of months and learning along the way from customers just like you. And if you want to be the first to know when you can try one of these features, join the waitlist today. Now, I'm so excited to be going on this journey with you. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I'll hand it back to Jen in the studio in Austin.
Thank you so much, Jeff, Sophia, and Mark. Really loved hearing you all go through these awesome updates. I personally can't wait to try these out. I agree with Sophia that my favorite announcement today was about AI Sidekicks. I know it's going to come in super handy as I prepare strategy decks before I share them with my colleagues. And if you want to be the first to hear when these features and some of these offerings are available to try, don't forget to sign up for our waitlist. What we showed you today is only the beginning. We can't wait for the amazing journey we'll be taking together as we transform the way you and your team work. And if you're just as excited as we are about what's next, save your seat now for our next big event. That's Canvas 24 on the 8th of October. If you want to secure your chance to attend, you can sign up today at miro.com/canvas24. And with that, we're signing off for now. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.